friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about this new complexion product from Fenty Beauty. This is the Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. This is currently available. I purchased mine from Sephora. It's priced at $29.50 and it comes in 25 shades. I purchased shade 2, which is light with neutral undertones. The shade itself is pretty much a dead-on match. You'll see that in the application demo part. Shade-wise, I'm super happy with what I chose. I just got it based on the little swatches and descriptions that are on the Sephora site. And I feel like it's not news that Fenty's really good at making good shade ranges. According to the description on the Sephora site, this is a lightweight, buildable, light to medium coverage skin tint that leaves skin looking blurred and smoothed in flexible shades for all. It's a light coverage with a natural finish, and it's also paraben-free, vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. I've been on a huge skin tint and tinted moisturizer kick lately. I barely ever use actual foundation. I just wear tinted moisturizers and skin tints. So I was very, very excited to see this release. Very excited to pick it up during my Sephora VIB sale haul. I didn't really get along great with the Fenty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. As somebody with dry skin, I was hopeful that that was going to be my Fenty complexion product of choice, and it just ended up not looking super great on me. That one was kind of heavy looking, kind of caked up in certain areas. So I purchased this in hopes that it would become my holy grail Fenty complexion product. So you're gonna get to go through some wear test check-ins with me to see if that's what happened. Let's just start at the beginning. I'm going to show you an application demo. I'm going to show you my wear test check-ins throughout the day, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts on this product at the end. I always like to start my wear tests with just a close-up shot of clean, moisturized, completely makeup-free skin. That way you can see what our starting point is, and this helps you get a better point of reference as far as coverage and wear and that kind of stuff goes. So yep, this is just my regular old plain old face. Here it is. Now this does say to shake well before use, so I made sure that I would shake it up really well, and this does have a nice little squeezy tube top. I'm using the shade number 2, and I first wanted to apply some of this to one side of my face so that you could really get a side by side of what one layer of this looks like compared to completely makeup free skin. So I just took about 2 drops total. It's kind of hard to tell since it is in a squeezy tube. I would say it's less than a pea-sized amount to cover this half of my face. So it is pretty impressive the amount of coverage that I got here, even though this is a lighter coverage product. I think just that blurring effect really helps to give the appearance of coverage as well. So here's a close-up. You can see the texture, and close up it looks a lot different than it does from just a conversational distance. You'll see that more throughout the wear test as well. Now here I'm just evening out the other side of my face, and I've been doing a lot of just finger application lately, especially when it comes to these lighter coverage products, tints and tinted moisturizers and things like that. I find that I get the most bang for my buck if I just use clean hands to apply to the skin. That helps to really warm up the product, and it also helps me avoid having a brush or a sponge soak up any of that little bit of coverage I was going to get. Now, I did want to layer this. It does mention in the product description that it is buildable up to a medium coverage. I don't think that this ends up being a medium coverage. Now, I didn't go super hard really trying to get a ton of coverage out of this, but I will say that even with 2 layers, it does feel more like a lighter coverage product. And that blurring capacity really helps give the appearance of more coverage than it actually has. When you get close up, you can tell that, but from just a normal distance, I think it looks like more coverage due to the blurring properties of this product. Now here we're getting the first glimpse of what will be continued texture problems for me. It's already really clinging to the dry places on my skin, and I had just cleaned and moisturized my skin right before I started filming this demo. So my skin is not going to get any more moisturized than this unless I start working with moisturizing primers and layering makeup products that are hydrating. But as far as just regular skin goes, I was very well prepped and moisturized, and you can already see it's looking a little flaky, looking a little iffy. As far as I'm concerned, not thrilled. Okay, I'm here for my first check-in wearing this Fenty Eaze Drop Skin Tint. As you can see, I did finish the rest of my makeup. The only other things that I put on my face were a little bit of concealer. I tried to go really minimal on the concealer. I used the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape. I did a little review with that. I'm actually really liking that concealer. Not the point. I also put on a little bit of blush. I'm wearing the Kosmetics Heaven's Glow little baked blush. It's in the shade Venetian Rose. Those are the only things I put on my face. I didn't do any powder. I didn't even set my concealer. I didn't do any setting spray. And then, of course, I put on some eyeshadow and did my brows. I really try to stay away from anything that's going to interfere with my base makeup whenever I'm doing these wear tests. So that's just why I gave you the rundown of what I'm wearing. Let's take a close-up look here. I've been wearing this makeup for just about 3 hours. I'm coming up on the 3-hour mark. I did film this eye look, so that will be up soon if it's not already up. And then, as usual, I had to charge my camera. So we have about 3 hours of wear here. I'm hoping that we'll get a good 6 or 7 hour wear test in today. Let's take a close-up look and see what 3 hours looks like with this, because it was looking a little dry when I first applied it. So when I first applied this product, I thought it was looking pretty dry. I think you can kind of tell what I'm talking about right here. Now, where I applied the blush, I think it definitely helped a lot. That glowiness from the baked blush really helped combat some of the dry looking texture. But I think you can tell, even without being super zoomed in, that it looks pretty dry. Yeah, it just doesn't look super great, even on my chin. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to wear this all day. Actually, like right here doesn't look bad, but now that I think about it, that's probably from the concealer, because I did do some under eye concealer in this little triangle area here. Do we have any nose gunk? Not too bad, it just looks really dry. But it's not gunked up, it just, well, a little tiny bit, not bad, but it just looks really dry around my nose. Let's look at the forehead. Got a lot of buildup in my forehead wrinkles, that's pretty normal. Can't really blame the product for that. We'll just blame my wrinkles because it's their fault anyway. And in the center, I think actually my forehead looks a little bit better than it did when I first applied. Maybe from like warming up on my skin. It helped that product to even out on the skin a little bit from my warmth of my skin and probably these warm lights. And the forehead is looking better, but I don't know, this just doesn't look, it just looks kind of flaky and not cute. It looks fine from farther away. It definitely evened out my skin. I think the fact that the concealer and the blush helped with that texture a lot lets me know that if I do combine this with some more moisturizing primers, a nice dewy setting spray, a little glowy setting powder, I could probably combat a lot of this drier looking texture. But let's just give it a couple more hours and see how it does. Maybe the rest of my face will kind of start to warm up and look a little bit cuter like my forehead did. Or maybe it'll all get terribly, terribly worse. I don't know. We'll just have to wear it and find out. So I will be back in a few more hours to see how the day treated this face. Okay, I'll see you then. Be sooner for you than it is for me. Okay. See you soon. Okay, bye. I'm here for my final check-in before I finish this video. I got just about 6 hours of wear on the skin tint, so let's just get all close up, all HD in the pores and the wrinkles, and see how the Eaze Drop Skin Tint wore on my very, very dry skin. Okay, this is unrelated to the Fenty review, but I just want to point out how much my blush wore off compared to the fact that my eyeshadow still looks perfect. This eyeshadow is crazy good. Okay, anyway, that's another review for another day. Let's look at the skin. I'm going to turn down the light a little bit. Okay, it just looks pretty dry. Right here. Right here. Yeah. See, you can just see how dry it is. This whole everywhere. Got a little bit more nose gunk than last time. Still not a ton, not terrible. Ooh, let's take a pause and look at my eyeshadow in this low light. It's so pretty. Okay, sorry. Easily distracted by shiny things. It's just, yeah, it just looks so dry. Oh. Not quite as bad in this area on this side. It just doesn't look stunning on my skin, personally. Now, I think the chin actually looks maybe a little bit better than it did at the last check-in. I can't really remember. I kind of remember thinking my chin looked dry at my last check-in a few hours ago. Maybe it looks a little bit better, but still on the sides here, you can tell. Looks a little not moisturized. See how the forehead is. The forehead wasn't too bad at the last check-in. Still not awful. I feel like it's still not bad. It's not as bad as my cheeks. I feel like it almost looks like it's like separating a little bit. There's not really a ton of coverage, so it's hard to tell. But I just feel like it's kind of looking patchy coverage-wise. I noticed that down here too, but this is always a problem area for me. But even here, it like looks like it's kind of separating apart a little bit. Am I just imagining that? I don't know. When you're really close up, keep in mind I'm using a high definition camera and then I'm zooming in super close to my skin so that you can see the dirty details. But I think from this distance, it doesn't look, you know, like it's separating and patchy and dry. And, you know, from a normal conversational distance, I do think it looks fine, especially if I were to go back in with a little glowy powder, a little glowy setting spray. I could probably really make this work and look like a nice little skin-like finish for me. It's kind of a tough balance when you're reviewing because you want to get up close and you want to give as much detail as possible, but I also don't want to come off like, you know, I'm harping on these little tiny details that, you know, from this distance you can't really see, only really I can see them. Overall, this is really just okay for me. I think at the end of the day, this just isn't perfectly suited to my skin type because I am in my mid-30s, so I have some of those little fine lines and wrinkles popping up, and I have very dry skin. So at the end of the day, this is a blurring product, and what I need is something that is a hydrating product or a dewy, luminous product. Coverage-wise, I like this. Shade range is great. I got a dead-on shade match for me. Compared to the Hydrating Pro Filter, much prefer this one. However, compared to other skin tints and tinted moisturizer type products, this is probably one of my least favorite that I've tried. So this just ended up being very middle of the road for me. And I think at the end of the day, it's because it's just not exactly right formula-wise for my personal needs, my skin type. I do think that if you have more normal to oily skin, this is something that's going to work a little bit better for you because it did end up being just a little bit dry for me. But you know what? I'm going to keep trying it out. I'm actually going to try using this with my Glossier Future Dew, which is a really dewy, really hydrating primer that I love to use with products that need a little bit of a glow boost for my skin. So I don't love it, but I haven't written it off. I just don't think this is perfect for dry skin. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this product. Have you tried it? What's your skin type? What are your go-to skin tints, tinted moisturizers, foundations? Leave all your thoughts down in the comments below because I always love to hear what you think about things too. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! That's not what happened. Spoiler alert. I mean, it kind of is and kind of isn't. I don't know. It'll make more sense later. There's a sparkly eyeshadow particle trapped on my mascara and I keep seeing this like sparkle off to the side. That's the whole story. It's actually fine. Okay, great. Doing great. How pretty is this eyeshadow? Oh, I love it. Wow. Okay. Focus. Great. Off to a great start. Doing great. I am going to be so distracted by this eyeshadow all day because it's so shimmery and colorful and pretty and I love it. I had to take my earring out because my camera kept trying to focus on my earring instead of on my skin. That's not helpful. Did that make sense? Probably not. Knowing me, it probably didn't make sense. It's fine. It's fine. We're all friends here. We're all friends with foundation stains on our shirt for the past week. It's fine. It never really washes out, you know? Anyway, what was I talking about? Shiny mermaid eyeballs. Okay. Wow. I'm just gonna go unabashedly stare at my eyeshadow now because I've been feeling guilty all day about how many times I've gotten distracted by it. And now I don't have anything else to film. I'm done with work for the day. So I can just go and stare at my eyeshadow for 10 minutes straight, which is what I've wanted to do all day long. Especially because it looks so good. I cannot believe it has perfectly stayed in place all day. What is this magic? I am gonna have a whole video about this palette out. If it's not already up, it will be up soon because what? Me? With pastels and green? What is happening? What is happening? Okay, anyway. I'm done yelling about this eyeshadow. Maybe I might go do it more just off camera. I love your face. That's not news to anybody. I made a whole t-shirt about it. I'm wearing it today. So, you know, just a daily reminder that I love your face so much. And I'm going to see it hopefully real soon in another video. And thanks for bringing out a little beautiful face ears around to this channel. I love it so much. Okay, bye.